What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. I can't believe it. Like, I still am blown away that people get up and they're like, you know what? It's 7:30 on the East. Who knows? It's way earlier everywhere else. And they're like, yeah, we're going to go hang out. Thank you.
Yes. Hey, everybody. It's Proper Cup of Joe. I'm Joe. I don't have reptiles. And I got a lot of questions for this guy.
It's the other way. Yeah.
It's the other way?
Yeah.
This guy. Right. Okay. Yeah. Who does have reptiles? So we're here every Thursday morning, chopping it up. That's what we do.
That's right. That's right. We talk some reptiles life. Joe's a bit of a Renaissance man, does a little bit of everything, lots of experience. What's the thing in the circle where Leonardo, like his arms and his legs are extended and there's a perfect circle around him?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're the art guy. You guys go to like the Louvre and all that. I figured you know what was up, man. What's that thing called?
Everybody goes to the Louvre.
Never been. I have an excuse for not knowing my Leonardo's. You need to be up on it. He's like good enough. You can just call him by his first name, but he's Leonardo da Vinci, right?
Yeah, I thought you were referring to DiCaprio myself, but yeah, Da Vinci, I guess. Yeah,
it would have been the Ninja Turtle before DiCaprio. Okay. Although in Gangs of New York, phenomenal, excellent movie. Excellent. I loved it.
Oh yes, yeah, I know that you like that. You dressed us one time, not Leonardo, the other guy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. What's been going on, Joe? How's your week been, man?
It's been okay. It's been good. Yeah. There's a lot that's been going on, just work wise, and spending the weekends really outside working a lot, and yeah. So it's been all right. I'm looking forward to this weekend where I get to travel a little bit and have a nice time. Yeah.
Well, where are you going?
Just to Pennsylvania, where I grew up.
Oh, cool. Very nice. That's
We're going to Baltimore first, and then I'm going to see my sister for lunch tomorrow, and then we're hitting up Millersville, Pennselsvania, which I've never been to, just to see a show of a guy that I like, and then we'll go.
Your songwriter guy, right?
Yeah, my songwriter guy. I like him a lot. So,
okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and then Aiden's got a kicking camp that we're going to. So. And he's kind of nervous. I've been kind of like, hey, you got to be ready for this now. You got to be ready. This isn't Florida football. All right. This is Pennsylvania football. All right.
Yeah. That's like,
they're going to run you.
Oh, you think you're smart. And then you get to college and like everybody's smart. Yeah. Like this is what they do. Everybody there kicks. Like you're not just the one dude that can do it here. Right.
So he's good. Yeah. He's good and scared to go to this camp, which is probably not a good thing.
No, I think that's cool. It's what do they say? It's like a sports saying, like pressure is a privilege. The pressure's on because he's good. He's earned that privilege to have the pressure on him.
I mean, we'll see what happens. He's been injured for a long time, so but he's gotten out kicking a little bit more the past couple of weeks. So
okay, all right,
yeah.
All right,
yeah.
Well,
so how about you?
Fun.
How about you?
Not too much of note. I have a show this weekend, but otherwise just kind of getting through stuff. Still working my way through the car wash renovation. The rodents are in, and actually the rodents are in and expanding. It's time for the locals, if they're interested, to start getting on the customer list. But I'll start advertising for that and really building that business. So I'm very excited for that. Otherwise, I've been playing electrician, running outlets. There's nothing more satisfying than going, we're going to have every outlet we could possibly need. I've got them up high so the racks can fit under them. Like, think about like having 6-7 foot racks, and then your outlet is only at the typical, 50 inches. You're constantly covered up on outlets. You got to put your outlets up high above the racks. And so I'm running all those right now.
That's very smart. It's very smart.
Yeah.
And there's nothing against code to put them up high, right?
No, you can put them anywhere you want, man. Anywhere you want.
Good.
So And it's a little, I have to admit, like I know enough of what I'm doing with electrical stuff to, to run outlets, put in fixtures and receptacles and stuff. A little secret, Joe. Electricity is just magic to me. I don't really get it. Like, it's amazing. I do this little paint by number thing. I connect A to B, and then let there be light. Like, it's amazing. It's very fulfilling when I like, and it's rather quick. In a day's operation, you can get quite a few outlets put in and installed.
Yeah. Do you ever get nervous that if you're doing this stuff yourself, you ever get nervous that you're doing the wrong thing, or you're gonna
No,
you're gonna be messed up or something like that?
I don't know if most people know, my very first job was as an electrician. After Hurricane Andrew, my mother and her husband, who's a general contractor and electrician by trade, they moved from Maine down to Miami and proceeded to, I don't know, make their life riches and fortune. I mean, it was such a land of opportunity for them. And my first job starting it would have been the summer of 93. I would have been 13. And it was the beauty of piecework. Adam, here's a whole apartment complex getting repaired of outlets you could put in. I got $2 per outlet. I got $5 per fan. And if it was a 3-way switch, I got $5. And I would get dropped off. 8 hours later, I'd get picked up, inspected, paid cash in hand. Off I went, man. It was wonderful. It was such a good time. Oh, it was such a good time in my life.
Yeah. Look at you. I'd say, who's the Renaissance man now? I mean, come on. Electrician.
There's a thin line. There's a thin line between being broke and willing to work and a Renaissance man. Like you start to figure stuff out, man. But no, I never got allowances or anything. I just went and got to work. So I would do that, and my mom's husband's stubborn guy too, man. Like, if my screws weren't straight up and down on the wall plate, it was a kill. I didn't get my money. If the wires didn't wrap around the screw in the direction that the screw screwed in, so that the wires effectively get tighter as you screw it in, no money. So you get it right. You do it right every time. You make your process and your system. And yeah. So no, I know what I'm confident. I know what I'm doing. And I also know where to stop. Like, I don't do anything in the breaker box. That's kill you dead world there.
Yeah, I don't. So I'm curious about that, and that's kind of like, that was going to be my one thing, is that my lawnmower doesn't work.
Yeah,
and there's been
exciting news when that's what you bring to the table, Joe. All right, Joe's lawnmower doesn't work. Everybody, glad you've tuned in this morning.
But you're doing a lot of renovation for your for your new digs there. So I'm curious, like, how often are you going? Like, I just go on YouTube and I'm like, okay, somebody show me how to do testing things. How, do you go? Or is this like just knowledge that you have in your head to do that? Like with the lawnmower, I'm like, I gotta take it apart. I gotta find out where the solenoid is, and I got to test that and get the meters and and I still haven't figured it out. I don't know. It could be an engine problem. I don't know. So I'm at a point where there's a threshold that I get to where I'm like, I guess I got to call somebody.
Yeah.
And for a small engine like lawnmowers, I'm like, geez, I wish I could just figure it out on my own, but I just can't.
Yeah, well, and then you're going to get into the world of, well, is it just cheaper to buy a new one? If I got to call a guy, that's going to be, a couple $100 for him to come out. Like, maybe you just need a new lawnmower.
Yeah.
Look at this. Proper cup of Joe, brought to you ad-free by the fine people at Palm Street, Cold Blooded Cafe, and Husbandry Pro, as well as Sundog, and now Creative Reptiles, a little 10 spot to get us out of bed this morning. Thank you so much, Elias. I'm very, very appreciative. Thank you. I didn't feel like we'd earned that yet. That's like a preemptive down payment. You know what I'm saying?
Now we got to live up to it. That's right. Pick it up. I got to bring something better than a broken lawnmower.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thanks for the show prep, Joe. The Joe and the broken lawnmower.
No, okay. I'm sorry.
I'm messing with you. But You were asking, do I have the information? I mostly have it in my head because like there's always like Kelly and I in the past, I don't know, 5 years, we've moved 3 times. So there's always some renovation or repair that we're doing and all of that. But I did go back to YouTube because there's to get really in the weeds here. If you put in 2 outlets in the same box, you want to make something that's called a pigtail. And I won't bore you with it, but that allows the outlets to be wired in parallel rather than series. And if they're in series and one outlet fails, all the rest in the line in the circuit will fail as well. It's like your Christmas tree lights. One light goes out and then the rest of the strand doesn't work.
Yeah, right.
That's because it's in series. You really should wire them in parallel, and then you're protected if one of them fails. It's no big deal. So anyway, I did brush up on some pigtail skills and strategies as far as wiring and circuitry. So I did brush up on that on YouTube. As Troy said, you can find anything you want these days on how to do something on YouTube. Doesn't mean it's going to be right, but it is out there.
Right. And then, but also the amount of time, like sometimes I look at those videos and it's like, yeah, just do this, do that, do this. And right. I go, oh, this is going to take 15 minutes. And then I go out and it's an hour and a half later and I go, I can't even get the lid off of this thing.
You know, the nice thing about this project though, is like, yeah, they call it, I don't know why the number of receptacles is each called a gang. So double gang box. Yeah. That first one of the pigtails took me like 40 minutes in that box.
Okay.
But yeah. I got them all around the place. So like I got it down. Then the next one took me, half the time. And then yesterday I was just banging through and got a bunch done. So anyway,
that's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, yes. So like when you first learn how to do something or relearn how to do something, that's going to be, it is like this is what I go through. I don't have the right tools. You got to figure out, making sure that you have the right tools in the area and everything. So that is going to add all that time. And then once you have everything and you know how to do it, then you can, in succession, you can keep going. Like we got to put this rim around this border around our this wall that we built recently, and we bought mortar, and I'm like, I don't know how to do any of this. And Chelsea's like, are we going to be able to do this? And I go, yeah, this will be fine. This is that big arc of BS that we all do. And we go, yeah, it's going to be okay.
It's going to work. Yeah. We used to joke when new menus rolled out at the kitchen, at scale, it doesn't make sense to like go buy. You don't buy like a tomato. You don't buy a lettuce. You got to buy 50 pounds of tomatoes. You got to buy 50 pounds of a bushel of lettuce. You got to buy, a whole loin of beef. So we would do a new menu, or when we did a new opening, and we'd be like, well, that's a $200,000 burger, the very first one that went out. It's like, okay, guys, that's the most expensive burger you're ever going to see. Now we need to sell 200,000 burgers to bring down the average price and make this a profitable endeavor. Yeah. Well, when you're buying tools, there's a little bit of that where you're like, okay, I'm going to drywall, and I've just spent, $150 on what are those things, the trowels or whatever, and you're like, I don't know about this. So, but then when the next drywall project comes around, you have the tools.
Yes. Well, that's another issue that I have, is that when I actually learn something, I tend to, and I don't use it, I tend to forget what I'm doing.
Right.
And I go, and then I have to relearn it again. Anyway, we were doing this thing. We have like rocks that we're putting in our gardens and stuff.
Yeah.
And we had a big pile of rocks left over from like a couple of years ago. Same rock and everything. So, but it was all covered up with weeds and stuff. So like, I didn't want to put like real, like just dirt in with the rocks over weed barrier, because then there's going to be weeds that grow in the dirt. So,
that's right.
So we got to a point where we were cleaning rocks.
To each their own, man. But Yeah.
cleaning rock, and then I'm like an hour into it, and I go, "Is this really necessary to be cleaning all of these rocks?"
I gotta.
Because it was like the longest part of putting rocks into our garden, and we're with a hose, we're cleaning rocks. I've never done that before, so
Nor have I, and I could tell you right now, I'm going to be very busy the day that the rocks need to be cleaned. Like, or maybe I'm not feeling well. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm going to have stuff.
The problem is they look so much better when they're all clean, but also rain would just wash the rocks as well. So I don't know. You get into it and you go, yeah, this makes sense, and then you're an hour into it, and it's like, this doesn't really make sense. I don't know why I'm doing this.
I really love well manicured landscapes and yard, like literally. I'm not even joking or being smart here. I love them.
Yeah,
I hate doing it. I don't like mowing the lawn. I don't like being out there in the lawn. I don't like gardening. I don't like going to the nurseries with the in the mist and all that. No,
So I actually do. It's like a cathartic thing to mow the lawn. That's about as far as I get into it. I don't like gardening. I don't like plants. For some reason there's like a mental block. And Chelsea has really gotten into it lately, and Raleigh, my stepdaughter, really gotten into it. And it's like I can't even it's almost like gibberish when they're talking to me about
it. It is gibberish, Joe, because it's all plant. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's all gibberish. Yeah.
I have no, and it doesn't. There's nothing that that I retain in my head. It's like there are certain. Do you ever experience this? There are certain voices that don't. Like that there's a certain timbre that I don't hear, like physically I can't hear it, like my ears don't really hear it.
Don't put me in a position where you say that you don't hear Chelsea's voice anymore. Like I'm not going to be stuck between you two.
But it's almost physical how I cannot comprehend gardening, gardens, plants. I cannot. The synapses aren't popping when we get into a conversation like that.
Let me clarify it for you, Joe. That's called not caring. Just embrace it. I don't give a damn. Just say it's going to be beautiful. I want it to be wonderful for you, but I do not care. Let it rip.
And I've tried to explain this, and it doesn't seem to. Maybe when I explain it, she's not understanding.
Well, you will at least be able to embrace the full cathartic experience of just saying outwardly, I do not care. And you know what? Actually, this is very true. The Spanish have a better expression. The translation of I don't care in Spanish is no me importa. It's much, I think it's a better translation. It translates literally to that's not important to me. That's way better than I don't care. Because
important to me.
It's not important to me. I don't care sounds like you're down on the whole thing. It's not important to me. Like that empowers the other person to be like, yeah, it's important to you. Go ahead. No, it's not important.
I feel bad. I want to like the things that they like, and so I'm trying to make an effort, but like there's something that's in me that cannot compute gardening.
You gotta listen to your body sometimes, Joe. That's what yourself is telling yourself. You should go watch. You got to go watch some Curb Your Enthusiasm. Get in the right Larry David mindset, and then go have a conversation about gardening.
Rocks. I'll clean rocks. I don't care. Plants. I can't do it. What's up with you? What's your one thing?
Well, it's more of a nostalgic philosophical thing. It's summertime here. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I leave the doors and the window. That's the airflow coming through the house. That's that signal. I keep the doors and the windows open. It's like a high of 77. It's I think it's 52 right now outside in the morning. Let me check here. And it reminds me of it's 53 degrees with a high of 77 today. it's just
Oh, that's awesome.
It's
That's
magnificent, right?
That's
So
nice. Yes.
it reminds me of summer camp because I just keep the house open like a cabin at summer camp. Did you ever go to summer camp when you were a kid growing up? Did you ever get shipped off to the Poconos for a weekend or week at sleepaway? No camp, no camp,
No, I
nothing.
never went to camp. No, never went to camp.
Oh man,
Never had camp experience. No.
did you never worked at one as like a counselor or anything?
When I was in college, it was like a day. It's kind of like a day camp for kids, but it was more like I don't know. It wasn't really that. No.
All right,
No.
yeah, but you weren't like sleeping in
There was
cabins and making
Yeah,
s'mores. No.
no.
Oh, jeez. Singing songs that you don't really know what they're about. And yeah. Huh.
No.
Well, I did.
But I have as I've gotten older, I went to like a run camp a couple of years ago. That was really fun. It was really fun, and it was at a camp, like one of those types of camps, and we slept in a cabin and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm trying.
I would love to go to like grown-ups camp. That would be a freaking blast, man.
It was debaucherous, let me just say.
Well, that's part of why. Yeah, that's part of why I would want to go. I mean, that's at this point in life, what else is there other than debauchery? I mean,
it was really fun. It was a really fun time, and I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So, all right. So I went to summer camp. I think only 2 years, but possibly 3 years. I went as a kid, and I enjoyed it. And it was kind of your run of the mill, I don't want to, rustic is a better word. I didn't want to call it rundown, but it was a little bit rustic, in an old camp. Like my mom had gone to that camp as a kid. So I went, and it was this kind of fun, nostalgic thing. That was up in New Brunswick in Canada when I was growing up, and my grandparents lived up there. And then in college, I said, man, I got to get out of Gainesville in the summertime. The town is empty. It's hot. It's dusty. There's no breeze. Gainesville is like that magical place in Florida that's the farthest from any coast. There's no water, no nothing. It's just blah. So I was like, I'm going to get out of here. And I found a summer camp in Maine that was hiring, and they hired me to be a fishing instructor. I was like, this is the life right here. Joe, what I didn't realize is this was like millionaires' kids' summer camp. The kids lived there all summer. There is no limit to the amount that they were spending. Like kids would bring like their own, like they had the money to not only have their own horses, but to bring their own horses kind of deal. Like Jimmy Buffett's daughter went there. Like I had no idea. So
BYOH.
Right. Yeah. Don't even show up. Yeah. If you don't have your own horse, don't even show up. And so like I entered this crazy world of a camp unlike anything I'd ever seen. And so anyway, it's just crazy stories. But there was one crazy story that maybe I've told you, but maybe I haven't. But I was like, that'd be fun to tell. So I'm out there fishing on the lake, and I had this pontoon boat, and the camp had like 7-year-olds all the way to 14-year-olds, which is only a 7-year span, but those are quantum leaps in ages when it comes to kids and what they do. So I got a boat full of 7-year-olds swinging their little Zebco 202 rods with hooks and worms on them.
Yeah.
And they're really into fishing. But when you take the 14-year-olds out, the only reason they're signing up for fishing is because they know that everybody's going to be wearing a bathing suit out in the sun. And all they want to do is look at each other because it's a boys and a girls camp. And so much different priorities. So I got the 7-year-olds, and like some of them are even still like, one of the kids was still like having trouble with like being potty trained. So I got to keep an eye on him because he doesn't know what's going on. And, you know, I could have that problem, and there's hooks. And one of these kids goes, oh, look, there's a, I think he said tiger, but he might've said lion. He's like, oh, look, there's a tiger in the lake. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. That's good. And we're trying to get, here's a tiger in the lake. Okay. Yeah, great. I'm trying to get these sunfish off, and they don't want to touch the fish. They're flinging them in the boat. And I hear another kid, they're like, oh, Bob's out with his lion or his tiger. And I'm like, what are these kids talking about? And I'm still trying to keep it together. I figure they're just like crazy 7-year-olds. And Joe, I look around and what do I see? There's this Mainer in overalls with no shirt. He has a chain, and on the end of that chain is a tiger in the lake, and they are swimming and playing together. To which point I go, I don't need to be in charge of anybody's kids while there's this dude with a tiger in the lake. So I proceed to go all lines up, all in the boat, and I turn the boat around as fast as I can. And then I'm trying to think to myself, how am I going to explain to the camp directors that there's a dude with a tiger? Because I'm going to sound like a lunatic and get fired if I explain this. And I get back to the camp and I'm like, guys, what's going on? And like one of the kids is like talking to the other kids, and I hear him, and they're like, Adam doesn't know about Bob Miner and the Tigers. And I'm like, okay, so these kids would come here every summer. I'm like, wait a minute, these kids know about the Tigers. So I walked up to another counselor. I'm like, I was like, I know this sounds crazy. Why is there a dude with a tiger in the lake? And they're like, oh, yeah, there's a whole big cat rescue farm that we share a property border with. And he takes them in the lake and plays with them and everything. And I'm like, don't you think you would tell somebody about that? Like, hey, as part of the general orientation, you might, if you decide to trespass, you might run face to face in with a lion, or if you're out in the boat, so I was like, man, this is the craziest world I've ever been in. People are bringing their own horses. There's a dude next door with the tiger. As the outcome of this story, that's the main point of the story. It was funny, and it reminded me of summer camp being nice weather here. I had told Kelly that story a number of times, and it would be like a dinner party story or whatever. And I think everybody like generally believed me, but then they're like, I don't know, dude in Maine, tigers, this magical summer camp you're talking about. And sure enough, like, I don't know, 8-9 years ago on that Animal Planet channel, this dude had his own show, and we're scrolling through one night, and I'm like, holy that's Bob Miner. That's the dude. And so you could actually look up episodes. I think it's called Bob Miner's Big Cat Farm or something, but Bob Miner's Animal Farm. And that shared the property with us on the lake.
Yeah,
That's what we do.
If you're sharing property, you'd think a part of the onboarding for the people who are going to handle a group of 7-year-olds,
right?
Maybe stay away from the big cats.
Yeah. And so then all summer was like, so like rainy days, that's where we would take the kids over to the big cat farm.
Okay.
And the little kids were excited by that. But the 14-year-olds at night, you often could hear the I would assume the male, but I don't know. Maybe it was the female. Maybe it was both of them. Whatever they might do at night, man, it's pretty noticeable sound. If you haven't heard it before, you might be like, what is that? And then the 14-year-olds would explain to you that, there was a boy lion and a girl lion that decided they liked each other. And that's a rumbling sound. Let me tell you, man.
Yeah, it is. I've never heard that.
You haven't heard that sound before?
So somebody brought up Joe Exotic and Tiger King and everything. I wonder, like, did that have any impact on this industry at all? Because it's like exotic animals, right? So
yeah.
So and that was hugely popular.
It was wildly popular.
We were all indoors and everything. So there was, and then there was this thing, and it was so popular that whatever that documentary was, Tiger King. That's what it's called. And I wonder, like, has that negatively impacted exotic animal industries? Because there was some really shady, crazy stuff in that.
Yeah, it poured a lot of fire on the PETA-like groups, or added a lot of gas, poured a lot of gasoline on their fire, I think. It wasn't done in a very positive light. Now, clearly, anybody that's accused of attempted murder, we don't need to put that in a positive light. I'm not saying that. But yeah, the industry as a whole, and it's the old, like the good stuff never makes the news. Like that wouldn't have been an exciting documentary if it turned out that all the tigers were very well cared for and very well loved and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it was a negative light. A couple really crazy things, or less crazy, too crazy. Of course, tons of memes, like in our Instagram world of visual posts and memes, there's always something about Joe Exotic, or the woman that was in there that her husband has mysteriously disappeared as well. Like, was her Carol doesn't
Baskin.
That's her. Yeah. So that was, that did kind of change some of the talk around the exotics reptiles. The other thing, so there's been a couple. This chimp crazy thing, which I haven't seen. I need to check that out. But there is an actual like snake reptile type version of this coming out that focuses that focuses on a guy named Tom Crutchfield in our industry that I've met Tom and he's actually been very cool and nice. He's always at Daytona. But I've never been to his facility or his farm or got to know him at all. But that's coming out supposedly as well. I've seen some memes and like movie or documentary promos for that. But I got an email one time from Joe Exotic's lawyer. And and it said, for the low price of $100 an hour, we'll set up a jailhouse phone call for your podcast with Joe Exotic to be on your show. And I was like, well, I'll just put it, I don't care for the guy. And I didn't care for how the documentary put I don't think reptiles are necessarily exotic. These things are so far removed from the wild and all of that, but they get lumped into the same kind of category. I was like, it's a little off brand for me. It's not, he didn't deal in reptiles. He certainly didn't deal in ball pythons and all of that. And I said, no, thank you. But my buddy Mike and he has a network called the Herp Collectors Network of shows. But at that time he was doing his own podcast, Herp Collectors. And kudos to Mike. It was a cool show. He set up the jailhouse podcast interview with Joe Exotic. It did great. And they brought him back for another episode the next week on his show. So, and there is a guy, he was on my show. There's a guy named Reggie that's a great guy in our industry, Reggie's Urban Jungle. He used to work for Joe Exotic. He worked at his, and Reggie's a ball python breeder and really a very cool name and personality in our industry as well. So
I wonder, sometimes all these things get lumped together. And so you're saying that there's probably a large distinction between taking care of big cats and also breeding ball pythons. But
you can have one as a pet, both practically, ethically, and legally. The other you cannot. Yeah, there's a very big distinction between the two.
Right. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So I wondered about that. That's Because and then are these other documentaries? Are they showing is it like sensationalism and crazy? These people are kind of crazy,
right?
I just don't think that can be good for
it's not.
Way that people view exotic animals.
So let me ask you, Joe, would you be interested in talking to Joe Exotic? Elias is throwing out, hey, maybe we just need to raise $100 on a super chat and get this man here. And don't send the money yet, guys. Let Joe and I figure this out. If we do, we'll discuss this. We'll think it through.
I don't know. I'd talk to anybody. Really, I don't. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I can't make a snap decision like that. Plus, I don't know. Is it really our vibe to do something sensational like that.
We're
We're just a couple of dudes on Thursday
we're
morning.
men of the people, though. If
Yeah.
that, if that's what the people want, maybe that's what we got to. I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, of all the celebrity crushes, that ain't one. But we, I don't know. Maybe we need an update. He's been quiet. He's been kind of quiet lately, I gotta say.
Maybe he needs he needs some publicity or something like that. We'll talk about it.
His as another odd, weird, small world aside, his lawyer is in Jacksonville, and when I met Kelly was on there's a thin line between a bowling league and a drinking league, but she was in this bowling drinking league. And when I first met her and started dating, and that lawyer was in that drinking league as well. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah, we have a little bit.
So there's
of
a connection.
Yeah. I mean, we might be able to make this work. That's also Omarosa's lawyer. If you remember her, she pops.
Yes.
Yeah, she's been a little quiet lately too.
Yes. Maybe we'll have her on the show.
Yeah, everybody that's been quiet that we mostly disliked, we're going to line them up,
popular.
Get them on.
Popular with the 19 people that are with us and us.
Yeah. So that's my memories of summer camp with not Joe Exotic. Yeah, like how I wrapped that up. I put a little bow on that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And it's funny that you're talking about like weather and stuff like that, because you've entered a season in Minneapolis there, or in Minnesota where you are, and I'm like Florida is very humid and hot, and I like being cool and cozy and everything. And I'm really looking forward to getting into Pennsylvania. I look at the weather and it's like it's gonna rain the whole time that we're there. So
I don't know if you remember the last time I was there. It was a year ago. I was at Jeremy Warfel's cookout, and I was thinking the same thing. I was like, Pennsylvania, it'll be nice to go there. It was so bloody hot there, Joe. Man, I thought I'd pass out playing that outdoor gig there that day. It was so hot. My God, it was hot.
I leaving there, I have like these really great memories of the weather there. But I forgot that there could be long spans. Like when it rains in Florida, it rains for like, I don't know, a half hour to an hour. And
every day for 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. At the same time, right when I want to go exercise outside. So I don't exercise that day. And then, but I remember it could be days, weeks, overcast in Pennsylvania. And I forget about that. I forget about that there's like a rainy time of year. And it got me thinking about seasons and then there's seasons, like the word seasons. It got me thinking about like how seasons change and everything, and how there's like people like Florida because it's hot all the time and all that. And then it got me thinking about like the seasons of my job, like tax season, and, second tax season.
For all those suckers that hung out. Yeah, exactly. Right.
So, and I'm wondering, like, are there seasons in this industry? Like, are there certain points of the year where like everybody's focusing on the same thing, and then or not, or is it more like discursive, and we're going to do like what is that? How does that work with breeding snakes?
Well, you have there's definitely seasonality. So let me think of a couple highlights. And sorry, I got distracted. I saw the word sling bag from Elias to Sundog. This is really off topic, Joe, but I am going to get to the seasons in a second. I'm looking for a sling bag that I can put Lucy into, so that if I want to go to shows with her, but I don't want to leave her locked in a kennel, say I need to go get a little soda or a coffee or something, toss her in my sling bag and off I go. If somebody could I'm happy to pay for it. I just need the right, I need the right product to tote Lucy around in. I'm the middle-aged guy that needs a sling bag for my lap dog. Okay, that's where I'm at. While Sundog Serpents is up there, check out Sundog Serpents for your TSK Xanthic Clown Project ingredients. I know they've got some of those on the ground. Also, pardon the language, but they just hatched a bunch of badass super asphalts. Like, I am jealous of it. Go check out Instagram. Go check out what Sundog has to offer for you. They're on Morph Market, and they're good people. I've been doing business with them for like 4 or 5 years now. So pretty excited about that. Thanks for the support, Sundog. Go check out Sundog Serpents. Okay. Joe, I cut you off. I'm sorry. I had to get the sling bag and the promo in there. You know, it was the opportunity presented itself.
Can I just say that it was a beautiful segue from what we were talking about to what we were going to talk about today, and then you just walked all over it. So
we take care of those that take care of us. Yeah. Well, but the good news is there's no ads to distract people. We're going to get it back on track. So yeah, seasonality. Last year I did like 35% of my whole year's revenue in October and November. So there's a seasonality. Oh yeah. There's a seasonality of cash flow, which is really challenging. And that comes from, oh, look, you could show up this weekend in Tampa, Joe, if you like to.
I said, we had talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Or a couple of months ago, and it was the week I booked this trip.
Just coincidentally, it's weird. Yeah, he's got busy. Gardening and reptile shows, 2 things Joe is not interested in. Okay.
No, I'm interested. I just seem to always be away or doing something those weekends. I'm sorry.
So October, November, very, very high cash flow revenue. And part of that is because that's sort of the height of when the hatchlings are ready. The hatchlings have started coming already, but the females will lay, mine will lay through December. But like that sweet spot across the industry is that the hatchlings are hatching in the summertime. They're getting fed, they're gaining weight, they're ready to ship, they're ready to go to the show. And by October, they're just primo, and everybody's got their new stuff on the market and everybody's excited buying. And what happens too is show promoters know this. So in October, I'll actually do 5 shows in, I actually think only 3 weekends. I actually have a weekend off somehow in October, but I'll do 5 shows. So like back to back, I'll do Fargo one day and I'll do Eau Claire, Wisconsin the next day, which is pretty daunting, to be honest with you. That's almost 5.5 hours between those 2 locations, but thankfully my home is in between. So, but it's the opportunity to work. So that's the work season. That's the high revenue season. Tinley's that weekend in Chicago. So there's those seasons. But what I'm seeing right now, Memorial Day kicks off like summer sale season, which I hate. Prices tank. It's all the leftovers from 2024. The stuff that intrinsically, yes, they're very good. They're good animals. They're live animals. They need to be cared for. From a wow, eye-popping, breeder desired, our small circle, these animals have been passed over. So now people that are used to selling animals to other breeders or breeder dreamers or really high-level enthusiasts are going, how do I get these snakes out? How do I get them into the pet market? How do I wholesale them? Yeah. How do I move them? Got to make space. So back to back to back, I'm seeing big sellers with 50% off sales. Everything's got to go, because if you have hundreds of hatchlings coming and your space resources, i.e. the rack, is still partially full, or you need that space from the leftovers, you just got to move it. And what happens is, if I'm trying to sell something at full retail and everybody over here is like a dog chasing a squirrel because there's sales, even if they don't buy something from the people on sale, they're thinking, oh, look at Adam being stingy on his prices because he doesn't, so that's a bit of a season as well. And then there's the biological breeding season that goes with it.
And the biological breeding season is now.
Yeah. And everybody's a little bit different. So the typical classic one would be that they breed starting sometime in the fall in anticipation of laying sometime in the spring, where in nature they would beef up, bulk up through the summer in preparation for their winter, which is not harsh. It's not like they're, hibernating under snow or anything, but that's kind of the typical cycle. what happens is things get screwed up. So an animal, take my example or take my instance, for example, my animals got used to the temperatures in Florida. You move them to Minnesota, they feel a temperature drop. No matter how well your room is set up and all that, it is going to fluctuate a little bit, especially the basement. It starts cold down on the bottom and the heat rises. You're trying to circulate it, all that. So some of mine, like I say, some of mine lay as early as April and they lay all the way through December. And I actually like that because if I produce, say I make 180 to 200 hatchlings a year, I only have slots for like 125 of those. That's cool because they're spread out and I'm going to sell some as more come.
Yeah.
It's going to work. I don't have to buy as many. But the more time we spend in the same place, they're going to focus in. There's a gentleman here in town that has become a friend and a mentor. He's been at it for 35 years. He says all of his, within a 6-week period, will lay all their eggs. They're that tied in. They've been that long in the same place. He rarely buys another snake. He's using his own holdbacks. They're all on that timer. And I was like, that sounds exhausting. And he's like, no, I know exactly what I need to do. I can have a new rhythm when the hatchlings are there. Then the hatchlings are gone and I get to relax a little bit more. It's a lot less work when the hatchlings aren't there.
That's interesting. That's interesting to me. So, but your preference would be what you have now, which is more of a rolling season like that, where you
think so. But then I hear somebody that's been at it for 3 decades plus. I'm like, they probably have a point and know what they're talking about. So it doesn't matter because I can't change it. But I guess
so you don't. So you can't change. So what? Why does he? So you're in the same space, like the same environment and everything. I don't understand why he can get to a point where it's a 6-week thing. And like what's the factors that make that happen?
Slowly each year they would probably tighten up, and the factors that make it happen are the season, the Mother Nature season. We come out of summer, we head into fall. I don't know, maybe the pressure drops. However nature knows that it's fall and winter's coming, it knows. Yeah. And each year they'll get a little tighter and more in tuned. But the other thing is, if you have, and he's probably got females that he's been breeding for 15 years, so they're on that schedule. But the thing is, the offspring of those females are also coming into maturity at exactly within that same 6-week window. Say that they're being born, they're growing at that same pace. So it perpetuates itself. As they tie into it.
So part of it is that he's not getting rid of his holdovers. He's using them
we call them holdbacks. Yeah. Just the
holdbacks.
Just the verb. Yeah. Just so you don't sound like a dummy. What do you guys got for holdovers when you're strolling through the Tampa Repticon there?
Oh, excuse me. I didn't know.
I'm helping you out, Joe. I'm here. I'm here for you. I wouldn't put you out that way.
All right. So holdback. So he keeps using his holdbacks, but that doesn't make any sense because that means that you haven't sold them and it was like something that you purposefully did not sell.
Yeah, but that would be like one out of the clutch. You hit the powerhouse male that's better. That's the ideal product of both parents. That's what you go for. Okay, you hold that male back. And then in the future,
I got you. I was thinking something else. Okay, so the holdback. So he just uses his holdbacks. He doesn't go and buy snakes. So it's the same. So they're going to have, because genetically they're going to have the same time period, the same factors that
not genetically, environmental factors.
Okay, but since they're the holdbacks, like, all right. So they're going to have the same. They're going to have this.
They're going to have the same conditioning. They're going to come into maturity at the same time. And that timing is going to work. Macklemore brought up a good point. You can modify these things. You can purposely drop your temperatures to imitate wintertime. I don't. I keep mine at 78 year round.
Okay.
You can encourage them to feed at the same rate. Some people say, I'm not a believer, I'm a skeptic of this. Some people say if you pair them before they're developing, so they develop follicles, which become eggs. which then become snakes, that if you pair them before they're developing follicles, it will encourage them to develop follicles. I'm not sure I'm a believer in that, but a lot of people are, so maybe it's true. But I put it this way: if all mine came all at the same time, I would have to spend a lot of money on short notice to handle the space needed for all of those. So in theory, I like mine spread out, but I've never experienced them all at once.
Yeah, right. Is there any opportunity for for your snakes to for some reason that window closes unexpectedly on you?
It won't be unexpected. Over a long period of time, I think that it will. I think it'll tighten up. So instead of it being right on 1 year, maybe it's 11 months, and then the next year it's 11 months. So that's a cumulative 2 months tightening up. Yeah, I think that they'll all come into similar seasons over a long period of time.
Okay. All right. So there's a financial season, there's a breeding season, and they kind of line up with each other.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it is, while there's variations of breeding season, the saturation points are at the same, they end up coming at the same time. September, October is that saturation point in the market where the new stuff is. This time of year is that point in time where everybody's trying to get everything out of here kind of deal. And you can fight those waves, but there's not a whole lot to do about it.
Like I wonder if everybody's got their I was thinking leftovers. So they haven't sold, and you have this group of snakes that you want to get rid of. Would it be advantageous to actually, well, I'm going to use the same word, hold back on selling something? And so during the season when there's just a lot of not great snakes to buy, to have a snake that is available to sell? I guess not.
Sometimes. So I think about that. So like another season that I actually can't stand is the Black Friday through Christmas season. Unbelievable sales. You can't get retail price. Actually, you can, but everybody sees these sales going on. And I go, you know what? I'm just going to wait till January. I'm going to wait till everybody else sells their stuff at a very cheap price. But that's only like a 6-8 week proposition. Yeah. Right now, the sales are because it's all the stuff that hasn't sold in 6 or 8 months versus 6 or 8 weeks. And you have that impending, you count all your eggs in the incubator. Yeah. And you know that they're coming, and you need a space for them. So it's a little bit different. Another good point McElmore brought up, particularly here in Minnesota, the wintertime shipping is very difficult, man. You might have to hold on to an animal for 3 weeks or 3 months before you can get an animal out to a customer, which was a big pivot towards the local market for me. When people buy stuff, they want it. You want the immediate gratification. You don't want to buy it and go, all right, well, I'll see it in 3 months. So I really turned my focus to the local market. I ship very little in the wintertime. But when shipping opportunity comes, like you get that window of a 45-degree surprise day in January, you get you're on the phone. You're like, look, it's coming. It's got to go now. We got to get this thing out to you. It's going to be safe, but it's going out this day. Be prepared.
So you don't ship when it's cold.
Yeah, under 38 degrees. You don't ship.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. All right, that makes sense. Let me ask you this, because you're talking about space and having space, and then you have a lot of snakes that are coming, and they all have their own space, right? They all have their own.
You don't cohabitate. Every little label or drawer behind me is one snake. The only time that there's multiples is when they're paired up for breeding. And when they first come out of the eggs, we actually leave the whole clutch all together in one box. And they stay in there until they have their first shed. And once they shed out all of them, into their own boxes they go, and they never cohabitate again.
So is that timing of their first shed? Are they all like, what, you're going to have 4 to a
Oh,
clutch?
you could have. Oh no, you average 6, but you could have as many as 12. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
So
mean, or more. There's been bigger clutches than that.
so you have, let's say you have 8 in a particular clutch. Is the shedding time period, does that differentiate from snake to snake?
Not really. It's about 10
No.
days. Yeah. I mean, once one sheds, the others will all shed in the next day
Okay.
or two.
And then you gotta put them out. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you feed them. You don't feed them while they're the primary reason why you don't cohabitate them is that you don't feed them together, and you don't want one of them
Well, that
to
makes sense.
exert dominance. So they would have dominant feeding, and then they would have one would become dominant on the warm spot, which they need to digest. So the less dominant, the one that's not the dominant one ends up dying a slow, painful death. And the pet owner thinks, hey, they're doing great together. They don't fight, nothing. Well, the one of them is never getting the heat. It's never digesting. It's never eating. And like I say, it just slowly dies.
That makes sense. Okay. All right. And by that time, you got to make sure that there's space for everybody. Have you ever gotten into a position, everybody? Have you ever gotten into a position where you're like, I'm out of room? I don't.
Yeah, but not really in a pickle. So like, you could set them up in the incubator. Like you could make the boxes in the incubator. It's not ideal. It's a little bit warmer than you would want them, but as hatchlings, it's not that big of a deal. So obviously they lived in the incubator while they were on their way to shedding just fine. They can live there just fine, but that's not ideal. You don't want your incubator opening and closing every time you got to clean a tub or something. But yeah, generally you make plans, or you know that you have a show coming up, or you run a sale, or you call your wholesale person, or whatever it is. And there's all those secondary networks. There's a guy, January 1st every year. I only hear from him once a year. He calls me January 1st. All right, Adam, whatever isn't sold, what do you offer me for it? It's magnificent stuff. At first I'm like, I don't really deal in that kind of thing. And he's like, just check out the list. And I look, I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, I'll take these. Yeah. So it's just, there's different ways to bring value to different customers and serve different needs through the industry.
All right. That's interesting. Yeah, this was enlightening. I appreciate you telling me. I mean, this is really what we're all about.
Joe's got questions, man. Yeah,
I'm a stupid man, and I need to be up on this.
So, would you say, "Hi guys, it's great to see you. I'm excited about this year's holdbacks. I've really been focusing on brightening allelic combinations. I think they're the way of the future. That
Holdbacks."
You could elevate your line at the show to really like put it on people.
I can elevate my line. Okay.
Yeah.
If I ever make it to a show.
Yeah. If you ever go to a show, I'd love there to be a segment where you're just talking with like strangers that don't recognize you. And you could be like, I'm pretty excited about my holdbacks. I've been focusing on brightening allelic combinations. I think they're the way of the future. And then just like record. And then like
get out.
And then leave, be like, you guys have a great setup, and then just walk away. Yeah.
I could do that. I could definitely pull that off.
All right, we'd like to see that, and I think the audience would tip you like $1 for every time you did that. So you can do a little piecework yourself, earn your way there. You know, make a little.
Sounds good. That sounds good.
So, when do you leave for Pennsylvania? Or
just tomorrow. This is tomorrow morning, and then we'll come back on Monday. Just a quick trip. So
yeah, nice. We'll have a great trip, a great weekend. I hope your family's well. Oh, everybody, if you're locals, come out to the Cold Blooded Expos show this week here in Minneapolis. I'll be vending there. And speaking of Cold Blooded, Proper 11 gets you free shipping on all orders over $200 now. It's no longer a one-time code. It's no longer a percentage off. You're going to get free shipping. Boom, right there.
Sounds good. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will have a great week. We'll see you
guys next time.